Now, a few videos back, I said to you that I had some exciting news, that I was doing something with a couple of manufacturers, and I was hoping that it would yield some pretty, how can I put this without blowing it straight away, some amazing results, and it absolutely has.
A huge thanks from the GunLocker goes out to Caliber Gun, Night Pearl, Element Optics, Manbilly, Scope Mate, Vector Optics and Hill Air Pumps of Sheffield.
Now, you can see that I'm sat in front of an air gun, okay? But you can't see exactly what it is at the moment. And that's because this is a world exclusive. It really is. And it's something that I've been wanting to do since I started this channel. Now, you may also wonder why I'm sat on the floor, tucked in behind a hedge. Well, in truth, we've got gusts of wind over 30 miles an hour at the moment, and it's not fair to do a pellet and accuracy test in these conditions. It's just not fair. Not to say it wouldn't perform well, but it won't actually, how can I put this? It won't show you the results that I'm sure the rifle is capable of, even though they would be impressive. No two ways about it. But look, I, for many years, have always had this thing in my head as to being able to approach somebody, be a dealer or a manufacturer, and say, look, this is what I want. This is what I want. I'm going to say an air rifle for the purposes of YouTube, but this is what I want an air rifle to be able to do. Can you help me out? And you know, that's something that I wanted to do for ages, and I think that's what most avid air guns want to do. You know, once they're really into the sport, they've been doing it a long time, they want to be able to create something that's theirs, you know, to their specifications. Well, you know, because of you, because of your support, because the channel has grown as it has, and it's regarded very highly by many manufacturers, I've been able to do that, and I'm in a really privileged position. So thank you very much for this, because it's almost like a dream come true for me. It really is. Yeah, I still have to be a little bit vague about why or the purpose behind the air gun, because that's going to come up in another video, but I have to have perfect conditions to be able to do that, and at the moment I just haven't got it. The weather's not been right, or I've had some situations at home that I've had to deal with, which have basically put me behind. That said, let me kind of stop waffling and get on with it. Now, you can see probably that there's an air gun behind me, yeah? I'm going to show you what this air gun is now, and when you see it, you're going to turn around and say, Mark, yeah, thanks, we've seen it all before. But with this, you really haven't. So, first impressions, you're going to say, yeah, we have seen it all before. It's a Snipe 2, and it's from Caliber Gun. Yeah, it is a Snipe 2, and it is from Caliber Gun, but it's a one of a kind. Well, no, actually, I tell a lie. It was the first of its kind, and now there's a second one. And the reason why there's a second one is that I needed some help with it, so the guys at Caliber Gun actually created another one similar to this in order to be able to help me with it. So, as I know, as I understand it, there's only 2 of these in existence at present. I say at present because I looked and checked on Caliber Gun's website yesterday, and this is not available for sale. So, you know, whether that changes in the near future or not, that's up to them. I hope it does, because whoever buys this will absolutely love it. They really will. So what makes it so special? Oh, and before I go on about you know, the air rifle, I do have to give a massive shout out to Element Optics for providing me with this Titan 3-18 by 50 first focal plane scope with a 34mm tube. Stunning bit of kit. I approached Element Optics, told them what it is that I wanted to do and whether they would be on board, and they said yeah, absolutely. So they've supplied me with this fantastic scope, and I've got some special mounts on here. They're not expensive mounts, but they're no limits, so they allow me to make adjustments, and I've had to do that because the rail on this Snipe 2 has a 20 MOA allowance to it, and I've had to counter that for the immediate term. Now, for all you guys that are avid air gunners, whenever somebody mentions a 20 MOA rise on the rail, you'll know what that's all about. So there you go. You can start the grey matter and you can understand what it is I'm going to do. That said, why is this so unique? Well, it's sub 12 foot-pound, and you'll think, yeah, that's nothing. But it's a sub 12 foot-pound .177 with a 600mm barrel. And that's the key thing here. The fact that it's got a 600mm barrel makes it really quite difficult to set it up as a .177 and keep it sub 12, because when you've got such a long barrel on it, the pellet increases its velocity and its muzzle energy as it travels down the barrel. So you'll get this as a 450mm barrel, but you won't get it as a 600 or longer, because it is very, very difficult to keep it within 12 foot-pound with a longer barrel. The fact is, you can see it's got a regulator on the side. Well, if you try and drop that reg to the point where it's sub 12, then it simply drops out of reg and it starts losing air. It can't hold it, can't work. So we've had to do some special jiggery pokery with the mechanics, and we've got it there, and it is sublime. It's absolutely sublime. This is set at 795 feet per second, which I'm happy with. Okay, I don't want to go any faster than that because I'm staying within the 12 foot-pound limit in the UK. At 795 feet per second, let's be precise here, it's kicking out 11.8 foot-pounds of energy, so 16 joules, and that's using 8.44 grain JSB exacts. It's given me a little bit of scope, a little bit of leeway to be able to increase my pellet weight, but you know, if it goes more than that, then obviously I can reduce this to keep it within the 12 foot-pound. So depending on the pellet that this air rifle likes, then I will fine-tune it to suit. It's check-made, it's got a check barrel, and it's got check accuracy. It's absolutely phenomenal. I haven't as yet done a pellet test on it, and that's something that I want to bring you along with, so you can see it firsthand the same as I will. And this is the truth, okay? I have not done a pellet test on this. What I have done since I put it together, and believe me, this wasn't a Snipe 2 when I first got it. When I first got it, when I first received it, it was a Snipe 1 with a 450mm barrel. Okay, that was the basic model, and the idea was that I was going to use that and do a review on that, and then show you the modularity of it and how it can be swapped over to a Snipe 2, which it can be, and it has been. But in fairness, I was having some issues with the cocking mechanism on that Snipe 1, and I was getting some blowback on the lever, and I didn't think that was fair or right to actually produce a review on, not with the ideas of what I wanted to create, you know, with this air rifle. But I have spoken to Caliber Gun about it, and they are making changes to ensure that any future production that goes out, they'll sort out, no problem at all. So what you have to understand when you're talking about 0.177 is the fact that as soon as you go past 450 mils worth of barrel, it then becomes 450 mil to 500 mils worth of barrel. It then becomes really tricky if the air rifle is regulated to be able to keep it within that reg and keep it sub 12 foot-pounds of energy, because the longer the barrel, the pellet increases velocity and muzzle energy as it travels down that barrel, because it's using more of the energy that's stored behind it in that compressed air. So it's got the travel time to build up more speed and more power. It makes it really, really difficult, like I say, to get it sub 12, but we've managed to do it. The added advantage of a longer barrel, especially with this rifle, is accuracy, and it is pinpoint accurate, absolutely pinpoint accurate. I've only put JSBs through this, one tin, okay. I put one magazine through it to sight it in, and then I shot a card. And this, I'll show it to you now, is its very first card that it shot. So a magazine, 15 shots, and then I've got 6 shots in this card here, okay. And you can see this first one, that was the sighter, and then I went round the card as I normally do. Obviously we've got a drop there, but I can explain that now. And these others, bear in mind, it's only had 21 shots through it at this point, so the barrel isn't even leaded in. It isn't. I don't even know whether this rifle truly likes that pellet yet, because I haven't done a pellet test. And one thing I will say is that when it comes to doing the pellet test, and I've got 9 different types that I'm going to put through this, like I say, I'm going to bring you along for the ride. But what I have noticed is last night I actually started for the very first time, because I've never done this before, but I got myself a pair of very accurate scales down to 1,000th of a gram, and that can obviously read to 0.00 of a grain, and I started weighing some pellets, and I couldn't believe the discrepancy that there was. People said to me, you should weigh your pellets, you should weigh your pellets, and yeah, you should, but I've always been of the mind, you go out shooting, you take a tin with you, and if you're shooting within 30-40 meters, it's not going to make that big a difference. If you're out in the field, then that's a kill shot, okay. It's not going to be that big a difference. But if you are looking to do something very specific, and I guess we're talking about bench rest shooting here, where you are looking for the millimeters worth of accuracy, then it becomes a real must. And it's opened my eyes, because I put I measured about 40 pellets or so, about 40 pellets straight from the tin, a brand new tin of JSB Exacts. Now that tin says on it 8.44 grain. Well, I had 2 batches there within those first 40 odd pellets weighing in at 8.32 grain and 8.58 grain. That's a massive difference, and that can account for these pellet drops that you can see, where it's dropping 4 or 5 mil lower than the others. So what I'm going to do when it comes to the pellet and accuracy test, when I run the pellets through this, I'm going to find out which it prefers, obviously, and then of that selection, of that make, I will then weigh them out, and I'll make sure that the pellets I put through it for an accuracy test are the exact same grainage or weight, and then we can tell how accurate this rifle really is. Again, I've got wind gusts here of up to 30 miles an hour. That's why I'm sat down here tucked in out of that wind. But as soon as the weather calms down, as soon as this wind drops, and we're due for some heavy rain as well this afternoon, but as soon as it drops, I'm going to be back out and I'm going to be filming, and I'm going to bring you along the way. But here you are, guys, a world exclusive, a Caliber Gun Snipe 2 .177 with a 600mm barrel, and a consistency so far, what I've put it over the Crony, of 6 feet per second across the spread. I believe, and they do, by the way, Caliber Gun does another form of a buttstock, which is more suited for the bench. But I believe this could take on the very best, and with somebody that knows what he's doing, or she's doing, could certainly win several championships. It is that good, it is that accurate, and that's my initial thoughts. I've yet to see what it can truly do. And again, like I said to you right at the very beginning of this video, I reached out to a couple manufacturers, one being Caliber Gun, one being Element Optics, with a specific task in mind. And I'm going to use this rifle, this air rifle, and this optic to do that task, and I'm going to bring you along for that one as well. But again, weather conditions have to be perfect for me to be able to do it. Well, excuse me, short and sweet. I say short and sweet, I do like to waffle, as you know, but I just wanted to keep you in the loop and let you know what it is that I'm doing and where I'm going. There are loads more reviews coming out. I just honestly, I've been struggling with weather, and I've just changed my job as well slightly. I'm still an advisor, but I've just changed networks, so I've had to spend some time in that transition, as it were. But I've got some, I should have some more free time coming up. But yeah, I've got 3 air rifles to review, 2 of which are Springers. I've got some optics to review as well, 2 more scopes, a bipod as well that I'm going to do, and obviously a tripod as well. So there's more coming. Once again, I would really like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this channel, because it is allowing me to fulfill some of my dreams. I'm just super chuffed with this. You know, you've seen, if you've been a follower, you would have seen me talk quite passionately about Virak, about the HW100, and I think that's a phenomenal rifle. You've seen me review the Caliber Gun Cricket Carbine, and I think that's a great rifle. The HW77, they're lots of rifles that I've really enjoyed reviewing, but those rifles have been given to me straight off the shelf, and you know, there you go, Mark, review it. Okay, this is something that I have created along with the help of the guys at Caliber Gun. We've talked it through, one guy in particular, and we got something really, really special here, really special. So yeah, as I say, I'll bring you along for the ride. You're going to get to see how this performs at different distances. I'm here in the paddock now. As summer comes in, I shall be using the paddock a lot more, because I've got a lot more range here than I have at the back where I normally do my tests. And maybe, just maybe, Caliber Gun will put this into production, and you might have a proper HFT contender here, or a bench rest contender, for sure. Alright guys, look, that's it for now. Thanks very much. If you're out there shooting, as always, please stay safe, look after yourselves, look after the people around you, look after your permissions, and make sure your projectiles stay on your permission. You don't want to break the law. Remember guys, you are an ambassador of the sport. Okay, so if you mess around and you get caught, it looks bad on all of us, and then we get nothing but more regulations to deal with. So yeah, please be responsible. Well, for now, till the next one, which hopefully won't be too long, take care. Bye bye.